introduction, round of enormous applause, screaming and yelling. Obviously. Welcome to Inane Blather, hosted by
Headstrong.
Oops. Hosted by us. Known as
stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what our parents call us.
Yep. They're the ones, they wrote that list, and they gave it to that guy before his sermon.
Yeah, when they were like, you were talking about demons, and you were trying to, figure out a way to describe them, and we had just the right term, because that's our children.
Yeah, it was taken directly out of Dad's diary. So, and legit question, how's the weather over there?
Today it was kind of cool and overcast. I liked it a lot. I wore jeans today instead of shorts.
What the?
And,
wow.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Disgusting. That sounds terrible.
It's been really, really warm and sunny. I'm really tan, and I've been spending a lot of time in the sun. I was just in Chelan for like 3 days with some friends, and I got a lot of sun, and a
lot of smiles, a lot of high fives.
That's kind of the mantra. But yeah, so it was nice. It's nice to have variety. Have a little break from the sun.
Yeah, well.
And how's the weather over in your parts?
It's hot.
Oh.
It's hot, and it was windy today, so back to kind of the normal.
Nice.
Just in the 90s and windy, sunny half the day, partly cloudy, dusty. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
No, and I finally got some sun. I got a slight sunburn. Man, I tried to avoid it, but when I was in Vegas, of course, just spending 8 hours a day next to the swimming pool, even after reapplying, then suddenly sitting down and just vaping and doing absolutely nothing, I was like, oh crap, my shoulders are sunburned.
Definitely, yeah.
But shoulders will get you. It went away really quick, so... But right at the end of vacation, poor little Sophia got sick, and she has been sick for like a week now.
Poor
like,
babe.
man, oh man. I don't know if it was two different things or if just two stages, but man, she's laying down. She's just been getting high on scissor, pretty much for a few days now. Yeah, sipping on it. I give her a cup of lean in the morning, a cup of lean at night,
Just like my grandma used to do.
Yeah, she's like, here's your promethazine and codeine. Do you want the activist this time? Yeah, she was a sweet, sweet woman. Yeah,
she was a saint.
Yeah, my grandmother was a saint. But so hopefully she's good to go coming up on school starting on Tuesday.
Tuesday is the black one.
And Wednesday is the very pale white one.
And scene.
I don't know if
is that an Addams Family joke?
Okay, yeah, Addams Family.
Yeah,
yep.
I gotcha. Did I tell you I went to a pun slam thing? It was like an improv thing for puns. Like, it was like...
Everyone is stupid except me.
You were saying, actually, the last episode, cause, oh my god, it was riveting. I re-listened to it like 9 times.
Wow, you got a lot going on.
Not because I was editing stuff, yeah. Well, it's while I'm talking to customers. I usually just have it playing loudly in my workplace. Yeah, just on my phone. Really
like, I hope
sound.
Joe Biden dies.
They're like, yeah, me too. Fuck that guy. No, but you did mention it on the last episode. I don't know if I said it then or if I said it out loud as I was editing, but it sounded like the whitest possible thing you could do.
There were some people of color there.
I was going to ask. Okay, that doesn't mean it's not the whitest thing you can do.
It was in Seattle, so,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's fine then.
Yeah, it was really fun. But
yeah, there's nothing totally Caucasian about what goes on in Seattle.
Seattle is the mecca for all people of color.
It's not the pun event itself. It's the fact that it was called Pun Slingers or whatever. That was the only thing. That's it's pretty funny.
I thought so.
Yeah, how did it go? What was it like? Would you do it again?
Absolutely. I definitely want to do it again with some of my friends. One of the people I went to Chelan with, actually, he wanted to be an actor. He's been in some things before, and I was like, let's go do something, like, at least the Pun Slam, and, like, his girlfriend, my friend, she's really funny, too. She's pretty quick and punny, and, like, we were saying...
Quick-witted.
Yeah. I mean, she's super, super smart. So, she's quick-minded, but... And
rapist wit.
Yeah, and that guy, I'm not gonna say his name, and man, people are listening, and people are gonna be like, I'm gonna go track it down. No.
Oh yeah.
This
is Seattle, huh? I'll find this brochacho, huh?
He reminds me of Hassan. And he's like, yeah, when I meet Hassan, he and I can wrestle. We get all oiled up and wrestle. And I was like, oh my God.
Goodness.
Like, it was, cause I was just saying how much and like, he has a beard. He's really fit. Well, you met him. He was here at 4th of July.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah. And I was like, him and Hassan wrestling.
He likes basketball, which means he's
naked. Cool. Yeah. I was like, you couldn't take him. I was like, Hassan's bigger than you. And he was all like, oh, I'll get naked and show you. Anyways, so yeah, we were all talking about going to that Pun Slam thing.
That even comes up. That's all I was thinking of when I met him. I was like, what if that guy wrestled Hassan Piker naked?
That's exactly what
really
everyone
strange.
thinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
How could you not?
It's a universal constant, really.
Yeah, it's kind of been a problem in his life, actually. He finds it hard to get close to people.
Yeah.
It's all they're thinking about.
People are really his friends, or if they're even listening to him in the first place.
They're just masturbating, staring at him, thinking about Hassan.
It's like, well, if you think that no one listens to you, try starting a podcast.
Yeah.
Am I right?
And then people are like, what?
Who are you?
Yeah, so Pun Slingers was fun, but it was fun to feel confident too, to be like, I just wore these mirrored shades that I wear a lot, sunglasses, and
because you're actually a cop.
Yeah.
I don't think we've mentioned that on the show.
Yeah.
You are a law enforcement officer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am strongly in favor of the way policing is done in America, and I think that it's the way that the world should follow our example, because those dirty brown people got to get kept in line. I mean, who else is going to do it?
I wouldn't say they should follow our example. Maybe if we got tough on crime for once.
Yeah. Because of those Democrats trying to, they defunded the police, so there's just raping everywhere and murder and larceny as well.
Yeah, Seattle cut its police budget increase at one time, and over here on this side of the mountains, every building just burst into flames.
I remember, it was pretty dangerous time to be around here. To be a cop, it's so scary to be a cop, because even with all of this bulletproof vest, bulletproof tires, bulletproof just everything, and all these guns and tanks and stuff, I'm never safe enough. If there's one black person has a gun, then the world's not a safe place. So we just can't. We just can't go down this road of defunding more police stations, or this is going to keep happening. Buildings will continue to spontaneously combust, because of the defunding of the police. And that's just the facts,
Just the facts. Yeah, when I say ACAB, it really means all cops are brave.
All cops are beautiful.
Are beautiful. Yeah, ACAB, it's with 2 B's. All cops are beautiful boys. I hardly even know what to go with. I'm kind of wandering through the intellectual wilderness now.
You know what?
I mean, if any...
Excuse me.
No.
Let's go to Doug. Doug is the guy you go to around here.
Yeah. And you know why?
Doug he's the real deal.
Yeah, I'm going to use those incessantly on this show.
Is it?
But,
Go on.
Oh, all I was going to say is...
Everyone is stupid except me.
No, but... just because, as I told you, I quit Twitter again yesterday.
You twit quitter.
After I kind of went through this, and by quitting, I mean I pinned a tweet saying, "All right, I'm done for a while. I'm not going to talk to any of you. This
Do you have
is
a lot
too
of followers?
addictive for me." No, I have like 1,000 or something. I don't know.
Cool.
Or it's like 800 or who knows. I have 10 people that regularly see what I tweet, I would guess. But yeah, it was kind of this. I thought it was funny.
This feeling inside?
Yeah.
Or what? Wait. Was it your wiener?
Yeah, there we go. It's funny. Yeah, it's funny.
What?
Joe Biden. I know.
Stop!
Okay.
Oh my God, you kill me. Oh,
Yeah.
He's already dead.
And he kind of is, but...
This is going to be a nightmare for you to listen to because I can see my levels just being like so high. It's going to be like...
Great. You're going to sound like Sneeko. Yeah.
Sneeko?
Oh, man. Oh, see, that's part of, like...
You know what?
My needing to get out of some of these spaces, really. But it's funny, just because I realized, I was like, I'm just hooked. It was really just a realization. It's like, I can't keep kidding myself. I'm spending too much time on Twitter every single day. I'm opening it when I get up in the morning and yada, yada, yada. It's like, okay, just have to take a break. I need to uninstall it, and I uninstalled it. And then right after I did, then I'm like standing in the shower thinking about it, how like my final like conversations were going on Twitter before just putting a stop to it, where it's just like getting, there's so much good on the internet and in social media and so much horse shit, so bad.
Yeah.
And you're seeing great stuff, seeing funny things, seeing interesting things, and you're having interesting conversations, and then you start having kind of just performative internet debates, and then it's like eventually I always have like this thing that clicks where it's like, oh yeah, this is Twitter. It doesn't have my name on it, and I don't give a single shit what this person that I'm quote-unquote arguing with, this right-wing person, thinks, or if I win or teach anything. And so it's like I have this little click where it's just like, I'm just going to start trolling them and responding LOL, liking all their tweets where they're talking shit to me and stuff like that. I'm like, this is just completely nonsensical and not doing anything. It's like I need to just not do it. Like just uninstall it. And I mean, so much because our one current issue that will be out of date, of course, going on is the forgiving of student loan debt. Mm-hmm. And man, oh man, just the predictability of all the conversation online between left and right, or between boomers and millennials and all that. It's just like, why are we engaging in this? Who fucking cares? It's like, just take what we get. I mean, there's these certain things that are happening where if a good thing happens and the people in support of it see that, the people who don't support it aren't going to have their minds changed. It's like after the first 12 hours of something like this breaking, at least in internet spaces like Twitter, it seems like it's done, set in stone. No one's changing their mind. No one's doing anything about it. Like,
it's reactionary.
and they don't, and nothing you do will change their mind. Maybe some people have their minds changed by actual material conditions in their lives changing for the better, or maybe when something bad happens like Roe versus Wade, you see people who actually experience things going badly or having empathy for someone dying, like things like that. Maybe they'll finally change their mind. But all of this discourse, the discourse itself, like I feel like it's condensed on Twitter into this like pit of hell, but it's the same thing that's going on, that someone writing in the National Review versus someone writing in, Jacobin or whatever. It's like, it's the same effect, just on different groups of people. Like, as in, there is no real effect in terms of the discussions that we have for each other. What do you think? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of went on. Sorry. It's like I quit Twitter, and it's like, it's because I kept just arguing with dimwits, saying the same thing over and thinking the same thing to these same people, saying the same crap, and not even just because they're taking their marching orders from whatever right-wing lunatic like Tim Pool or whoever like they listen to. Yeah, it's like not just because of that, because they're already set in a way where that's how like the information and rhetoric funnels. Like I don't know how to describe it perfectly, but it's like, yeah, of course that's their reaction is for some reason, well, that's not fair. And it's like, and that's overall what their reaction is to forgiving student loan debt for 43 million Americans, lessening the burden on people for so many. And for other people, it's like, oh, well, we think it's a good thing because that's just what we asked for. I don't know. It's like the basis of each side of the argument is the same. It's the same garbage. I don't know. It like for something good like this to happen, and for me who doesn't have any student loan debt, I mean, I just think it's a good thing. Like it's you just get. You can, if you overthink it, you just blackpill yourself too easily, I think. You know what I mean?
I just wonder what it's like for over COVID, they had student debt relief, like where you didn't have to pay anything. And like nothing happened. I mean, like the economy was already, affected by COVID and stuff, but they could just keep pushing it off and like nothing would be happening to our economy because of it. No one is like losing their homes over these student loans not being repaid, and like however many hundreds of millions of dollars are spent every year, on student loans. I don't see banks. Well, I mean, that's why they wanted to get them back. People paying their loans again, was because they wanted to make money, banks and whatever. But like, no one was, even during all of this COVID, this economic crash and blah, 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 it took a while, before they started asking for, like, it was just recently that they started doing student loans again, like you having to start repaying them again. And like, it doesn't seem like it would have made a difference if they hadn't. It just was like, it just seems like a weird thing that, I mean, it's all because people are so ignorant in America that everyone is, not everyone, people are just really reactionary. Like that's the level of discourse because that's what people are doing. People are on social media just being reactionaries. I just saw a recommended video, it's Curtis Connor, about people need to get offline. Like
I watched that today.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I think that's a lot of it. Because people are spending a lot of time on social media. That's just the truth, because look at social media. Has a lot of posts on it. So people's like baseline behavior for interactions is just to be, if you really identify as like a conservative or whatever, that's what you do. That's what people do everywhere around you. It's normalized on every social media platform. It's normalized on the news, Fox News or whatever. It's just, that's what you see around us. It's just a dumbing down of our culture. But also, it's not just social media. It's the fucking presidents, Trump was like a Twitter troll as the president of the United States.
Yeah,
so,
true.
like, that's what...
It's like we also elected a guy who would get in public Twitter fights with Rosie O'Donnell.
He called a guy with nuclear weapons who's planning to bomb the United States Little Rocket Man on Twitter. Like, he's such a big bad boy,
That's the only cool thing he ever did.
Is
troll a world leader on Twitter. I mean, come on. Just so stupid.
Sort of.
It's like, thanks for legitimately scaring millions of people because you want to be, you want for Twitter clout. As the president.
For clout. That's exactly right. Like, people are doing everything for clout nowadays just to get, like, other reactionary people. I mean, it's just, it seems like a sick culture. Like, a lot of nuance. Nuance and stuff is hard already, like, through text, Like, texting, it's really easy to misunderstand the tone of what someone's saying. So, the whole digital world...
Yeah, but the biggest thing right now is TikTok, where it's a visual medium, and that kind of puts a hole in some of that, where it's like, well, no, people are getting their point across, and their point is fucking retarded. But it's funny because then
I meant conversations underneath, back and forth conversations where a lot of that shit. I mean, all that shit's going down.
True.
Like, it's really easy. It's anonymous and it's easy to misunderstand each other. So already, like, the whole culture of the internet is primed for all these arguments. Like, and maybe that's what keeps people going back, because we're so fucking unhappy in our lives. We got to take it out on something, and it might as well be that fucking Nazi on YouTube.
Yeah, it's late stage capitalism. I have no meaning to my life whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, when my kid isn't with me, I spend 9 hours a day on Twitter. No, but that's funny, because with what you were saying about it earlier, I mean, I think that is a huge part, this cultural shift that's not just reflected on social media, but how social media and the internet has shifted our culture and how we interact with each other. It's funny because something unrelated, I was just listening to something from our sister podcast, Chapo Trap House, which, it's up and coming.
Yeah.
hopefully
let's give them a shout out. They need every follower they can get.
Go follow them on Patreon.
Yeah.
No, but, or subscribe to them on Patreon. But they had said something much smarter than I could, but, about how, because of the internet and social media, it's like, there's never been a time in history where every interaction with the world for any person is as performative as it is now. Everything is performance. And so many people just aren't meant for that. And a different thing I listened to too, I think Gabby Bell was talking about that, or maybe, I don't know, I just listen to so much content, but just saying, just everyone has access, but this thing, debating or getting points across or performing in any way whatsoever just isn't for everyone, but everyone gets to do it. And it shapes all the way that we interact socially, because the way that we interact is over the internet.
Yeah.
And now it's whether you can call it doing things for clout, the way that people embellish things, the way that people lie, the way that people just engage in debates or want to have the upper hand in every single thing as a performance. And it's like, we're not all very good actors. Most of us aren't. So, we're not performers. This isn't a fucking variety show.
Yeah.
But
for sure. And the thing of it being a performance, of everything being a performance, kind of is diametrically opposed to what everything that is supposed to bring joy and happiness in your life, being yourself. And I think it's I can't ever remember exactly how he says it. Gandhi says happiness is when what you're saying, what you're doing, and what you're thinking are all the same thing. You're aligned with
alignment.
It. And it just
pretty much what Jordan Peterson says too. Yeah,
I mean, for sure,
really like that.
It all seems like, the stuff being on social media is too
in order.
It's to impress people. Like, that's the point. Like, the clout and that whole mentality about all of it isn't to, like, put your stuff out there and your ideas out there because you think it's good or because you have a passion. It's because you want clout. I mean, it's like not being yourself. Like the very I don't know. There's a lot better.
It can encompass a lot. Yeah, exactly.
It's like the whole culture of like social media and that performative like thing that you're talking about. I think that it just goes really against, or you have to work really hard for it, to work with being yourself.
Everyone has access to these platforms, and it's the only like truly through like democratic means people can like gaining internet clout is probably the only quote unquote social mobility you'll achieve in your entire life. Like
in America,
it's like that'll be because these are our social interactions, even though they aren't real. They are
because they're with people.
No, but I mean, they don't exist. Like, they're on the internet, and it's like social mobility, in a traditional sense, of course, is nothing like that. It's moving upward through, from one class to another or something. But, we're just not going to get that. Most people aren't. The only thing you're going to be able to enjoy in terms of upward mobility in social interactions in any way whatsoever is that one time you got 15,000 likes on a tweet, or your YouTube short went viral or something like that. And it's like, it's kind of a dismal outlook.
Yeah, that's the thing that gives you, hang on.
Ooh.
Thank you.
You little poopy bitch.
Okay.
I think that it's really helped me I haven't had Facebook. I've never had Instagram. And I haven't had Facebook since the summer of 2016 during the presidential election, because I was like, fuck this. Wow.
That's when I got rid of Facebook.
Exactly what I was always sort of like
stopped using it.
Aware of, but always, I'm definitely an optimist and an idealist and all that, but it was like pretty shocking. It was extremely shocking. I mean, disappointing, really, really totally ripping away the veil of all of this, what America really is. Like, I could not believe Donald Trump was going to be president, or was a contender, and that there were people I know that were like legit, like seriously fans of his. But anyways, so I got rid of that, and I feel like it's helped me be a lot more present in my life and able to, like, I've done so much mental work over the course of the last several years, and I know it's partially due to because I don't have social media. I legitimately have time to do it and to think without, because I think about how are people so fucking ignorant, and then I see some of the stuff that's on Facebook, and I'm like, oh my god, people are exposed to this for hours a day, and stupid fucking just a lot of things
Not good.
Yeah, exactly. I get to stay in my bubble a little bit, but I read a lot, and I try to actively be very, very conscious in my life, and I think that social media and all the scrolling and all that like dulls a lot of people. And
I mean, I uninstalled Twitter, and with having like that gaping hole in just my day-to-day, it's like immediately pulling out the phone on the toilet, it was like, oh, well, suddenly 15 minutes later, after I was out of the bathroom, I was continuing to read a
shampoo bottle.
Continuing, I was just like, wow, sodium lauryl sulfate. Who knew? Oh, you're saying this deodorant has aluminum in it, bro?
Well,
I'll be dipped in ham and butter.
And aluminum.
Yeah. Oh, no, but
Natalie.
within, I mean, immediately, suddenly, instead of scrolling Twitter, I was reading an article about organized labor under Allende in Chile in 1971. And it's like, oh yeah, I could just be doing that to fill time. It's like, I already have the problem of needing constant stimulation. I just spend so much time alone.
I think you have ADHD. That, you know? I think we have ADHD. Yeah. I've really come to realize that. I'm like, oh my God. So it makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
I think we do.
It's like, you know, it's either I'm listening to a podcast or reading something or watching something, you know, in every waking moment. If I'm not talking to another person, you know, I have to have something so that I'm talking to myself. But I mean, I did meditate. I meditated for a good 4 minutes this morning after the gym, but even that's tough. But yeah, it's just funny, like realizing that afterwards. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't know any of that. Like, what would I have learned other than people fucking suck if I had just been on social media? I mean, Instagram is a monster that's owned by Facebook, but I still use that just because it is. I've still cultivated my small bubble, and you know, and people like to see pictures of my daughter and my dogs, and sometimes me. And I like seeing pictures of other people's dogs and their kids. You know, and it's like, there's no. I don't have any of the. I mean, luckily for me, because it's just as bad as Facebook for some people, just from what bubble they're in on Instagram. But generally speaking, Chinese people look Chinese. Yeah. No, but generally speaking, it's a much calmer app if you set it up that way. It's kind of nice, and it's funny how it's like, oh, I like Instagram because I can get bored of it in a few minutes and just close it and be fine. Yeah. Like, that's okay. But I mean, it's funny, like what pulls me into things like Twitter or anything like that, what gets everyone is, you know, generally speaking, is FOMO. You know, that's I mean, it's like it's, you know, in scientific research articles now, the whole effects of fear of missing out, which makes me wonder, like, of course, FOMO could have existed before social media, but like, in what way did it affect life? I don't know, because it's like a legitimate issue now, and it's part of the reason that part of the foundation of what pulls people into social media all day long, you know, and then the algorithm takes advantage of that from there. But I read an article in one of my classes. I don't know, it was some sort of, I don't know, it was.
Don't quote me on that, though.
No, I read an article and about social media usage and stuff, and the links between, I mean, social media usage in teens and rates of depression is like undeniable. Like, it's crazy. Like, I mean, it's literally the fact that we're all on social media like this, and what fear of missing out can do to adolescents and teens and stuff literally kills kids. It does. Like, they commit fucking suicide eventually because of all this depression from I just remember, like, the way that it was explained was like the fact that you feel like you're interacting with friend groups and stuff, even though you're not. Like, you'll spend hours in your own room, but the only way you're interacting with them is seeing that they are doing things. Like, and so then in your head, it's just like people are doing things and you're not. even though they just took a few pictures and then they're spending hours in their room not doing anything really. And everyone's just missing out on each other's company or just doing activities in general. That fear of missing out on what other people are doing is really bad. Like, it's just really bad for your brain.
Yeah, and I think it probably comes from that people hate their fucking lives. I mean, it's like, easy for me to not have social media because I'm so, like, I had all this time off. I got to hang out by the pool and blah, 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 blah. I actually got to legitimately enjoy my life. So I don't feel the need to go check out to see, like, to live vicariously through all these other people and then feel bad about myself for not being able to do that. I just got to go live because at some moments in my life, because of my schedule, I was able to just straight not work. Because what's the problem here? It's capitalism. Makes everyone hate their lives and want to spend it in some digital world judging people and being angry and whatever because you're so unsatisfied with what you got going on. And like,
at least be like, well, at least I'm not as dumb as that guy.
Yeah, I just feel like it's this weird world. Like,
and I'll have that on my headstone. Because it's the only thing I'll accomplish is not being as ignorant as that QAnon freak.
It's seriously sometimes hard for me to remember to like take pictures. I can be really present in my life, and it feels really good because I love all the people around me, and like I'm having just such a good time. It's like, and it's nice. Of course, I love having pictures of things, but it's like it couldn't capture it exactly, and I don't want to stop this for like a second. It's so awesome, and I really like. Everyone, I would like everyone to feel that way. It's amazing instead of just, because I had to get rid of Reddit, because even as a social media, I was like, I get on there too much. I like feeling really smart, and
you were
owning
really
people
far down the alt-right pipeline.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, that's how I became a cop.
Exactly.
That's the name of this episode. That's how I became a cop.
Exactly. It's because I frequented the Donald too much.
Yeah.
And it red-pilled me on being a fucking loser.
And another thing about social media is genuinely something I think about a lot is just how many hours there are in a day. And like, if you spend several hours a day on social media, like, and you spend all these hours at work, like, what of your life, like, how are people supposed to, like, grow? I read a lot of, like, novels, and I wouldn't have the time for that.
I read a lot of novels.
I do. I mean, I read fast, too, actually. I'm a really good reader.
You do. Yeah.
I've had a 12th grade reading level since, like, 5th grade. But it opens, I have learned so many different perspectives that I legitimately, just because of like the reality of the way we make like time, like I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't be able to have a lot of experiences that I would have if I had social media.
Yeah, and you're lucky to be able to
1000%.
be a good reader. So it's like, if only this medium, like through video and stuff, was actually like good for everyone.
Only more people watch Philosophy Tube. I preach YouTube. Yeah, I'm like, YouTube is where it's at.
Good stuff. Yeah, there's good stuff on YouTube, and there's a lot of crap too. Yeah, and it's like, geez, because capitalism. I mean, it's gonna be
because it drives innovation.
For
you
other
mean?
means, yeah, innovation in how to militarize young men and against women and make sure that trans people are murdered.
That's why I became a cop. No.
I just want to get
them trans people.
And shoot trans people in the street. Man, I re-listened to the Chapo Trap House classic bit about the Bureau of Prisons training exercises that went wrong.
Oh,
just about like 45-year-old
I remember listening to that driving
guys sitting in the
South
break
Carolina.
room, just like, that new girl on Criminal Minds is a real looker. And then outside, just hearing a guy yell, "You all ready for this?" And then bam! just just karate kicking a systems analyst's arm into a vending machine and flashbang grenades going off. Anyway, there's just so much good content, and with it comes so much bad content. And it's funny, circling back to me for once. No, I was just saying with like the FOMO. I mean, it's really obvious with like Facebook and Instagram and stuff, but it's still the same underlying thing that would make me want to like open up my phone and go to Twitter is like fear of missing out on the conversation. Like,
yeah,
I mean, totally. And that's what Twitter is about. Supposedly, it's the town square or whatever. It's like, oh, as soon as I see that, Noah Samson is responding yet again to Sneeko and Destiny, talking about, how dumb women are and how soy boys should die or whatever. It's like, oh, I wonder what people are saying about this. It's like, no. Like, I immediately had that thought, and I was like, I uninstalled Twitter. Like, don't go there. You're just going to make your... Like, I was on vacation for 4 days, and sat around... I took lots of pictures, put them on Instagram, and it was fun. It was nice. But the one time on that whole vacation that I opened up Twitter and I got sucked into it for like 20 minutes and then realized I was in a bad mood. I was in a bad mood on vacation, sitting there with no responsibilities, like in the afternoon.
Because of some
what am I
idiot
doing?
On the internet. Yeah.
Yes.
Letting it control and affect your life. I used to like Reddit a lot because I felt like I could use it as a way to like hone my debate skills and like if I could stay calm, I could really like sometimes I can get on a roll and be like really represent the point that I'm trying to make and be like make a good argument, but it's really hard. I find that medium like comment sections or just digital written responses like that to be a really hard medium through which to have a good conversation, because it takes time to like set up an argument or like, a discussion, like write things out like that. It's just takes a lot of time to have good discussions rather than just, you can have really, really quick responses but it doesn't really go anywhere besides, because a lot of times also I would find myself just looking for people to argue with. Like it's like I like people's comments that I liked, but I wouldn't really be like, I agree.
I would suddenly be so far down a rabbit hole on Twitter. It's like there's like this, arguing with someone, they go into see what they're retweeting and go into that, and then another person into that until finally, inevitably, I end up at a page that like makes me scared about what's on the internet, and I'm reporting someone for anti-Semitism and hate speech and stuff. I'm like, how did I get here? Like Twitter, at least on the app, then it's like clicking back won't just get you back to a home screen. Like you'll have to click back through all of those things. And it's just like, I've gone too far. Like, and all of this is existing at all times on there.
And worse.
But I put myself there, and it's like through.
I think Hassan calls that brain broke.
Well, brain broke enough to go like subconsciously seeking out brain rot, but so 80 random questions to ask. Let's see here.
No, so the reason all of this, what we need is a positive space to come to light the passions and the fires and remind people so they don't become so jaded and cynical about people. And that's why Comic-Con needs to happen. Mm-hmm. So then I can watch Hassan wrestle with another muscular bearded dude. So
true.
That'll
be the headlining event, really.
I hope so.
And it's funny because all those tankies that somehow hold those conferences. Like I remember sending you a thing with Caleb Maupin, whatever the PIC or I forget what their whole. It's just they're the worst. They're just people who unironically like follow like the Soviet example is like what we should be doing, or just brain broken.
Who would think that?
they're called tankies, and they're all over the internet. And if you go on Twitter, they have the hammer and sickle in their
They sound
name.
stupid.
But, yeah, they're just, as Vosh says, they're just fascists with Soviet aesthetics. But before going down that, it's like if those people can hold conferences every year and raise their money and get stuff done, it's like, and they're dingbats. It's like, surely something even more successful be put together. And since Caleb Maupin, Mr. Burger King himself, was just like legit canceled because he's an absolute fucking creep, psychopath, like abuser and sexual harasser, you don't have to worry about any of those weirdos showing up at Comic-Con because they're too communist, I guess. for normal people.
Yeah, but, too communist.
Yeah. Burger King.
Burger. It would be fun though to have all these people get together and be reminded, because it does feel like a fucking slog sometimes. Like, and if Donald Trump wins again, like,
he won't.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be like,
he'll be dead by then.
Yeah.
Mark my words.
I was gonna say maybe the Earth will be dead or some horrible thing will happen.
To this. Oh man, sometimes it is easy to just be black-pilled enough on where society is headed that you realize you really are fantasizing about and just contemplating like how hard would it be to pull off terrorist attacks. I mean, really, you just have a few people, as long as there's no feds involved, you could get some stuff done. It's like, oh God, I'm at work. What am I? Okay, I'm gonna put some music on in my earbuds.
Yeah, but it's like, how will change happen?
It's like, and that's how, President McKinley was shot.
And that's a great way to stay in shape.
And that's the way the cookie boils.
Exactly. Yeah, just really disappointing. All of it just really, the willful ignorance in America is really disappointing. I was talking about, 90s music and how and like Frasier, that era of positivity in the 90s media, because it was like colorblind society was kind of the goal at the time.
History.
What?
The end of history. It was the 90s. Have you ever heard that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's a I've heard it brought up quite a few times, and it really it was a legit notion. I forget whose book it was. Don't quote me on that. But the idea that, I mean, since the Cold War had ended, and it was the idea that we'd reached this point, the current neoliberal hegemony was the peak. We did it. This is how we figured out how the world should be running, and we're going from there. And it's a very myopic and white-centric, Western-centric way of seeing things, for sure. You have to, until someone just threw down their stuff and said,
I'm tired of being a corporate shell.
But it's funny looking back at it, because that's already,
but it 20 is also
years ago.
It's like
9/11 changed all of that, I guess, because
we have to be racist.
Is a big cause of all of our problems now that there's any sort of conflict or something like that. Or just the advent of the internet making us all, well, not us all, but especially people on the left, growing and realizing the neoliberal world
patriarchy
order was only building towards just worse outcomes for everyone overall. It was the 90s weren't great for a lot of people, but
I think like the idea of like colorblindness and those kind of social attitudes about like we did it are also like the founding of the nation being like all men are created equal and everyone has a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These lofty goals, and it's like, sure, a colorblind society in the way that you're thinking about it, in that people are not discriminated against or there's no negative feelings towards someone based on the way that they look. Duh, of course, that's like a cool way to think about the future of how it could be, you know, appreciating people. But why, it's like interesting that we can't see that we did absolutely no work to get anywhere. Like, how did we think that we solved it when we literally, it's like we passed one act, the Civil Rights Act, and it's like, so then, like, legitimately, how fucking stupid, how fucking stupid Americans are that that's what they think the amount of effort that it takes to make social change. Like, I mean, that it just really, when the Civil Rights Act passed, but Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X were both assassinated. So I'm not really sure how that's like, you know, it just really fucking racist, I guess, is what a lot of it comes down to, and not wanting to, because we want to have this view of America because of these lofty ideals that we do know the right thing to do, and we're obviously right because we have these like morals on our side, because in a way, of course, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that, of course, that's like what people can get behind, but just I forgot what I was going to say. But
those are just ideas. Yeah, exactly. Putting things into place And it matters who's saying it, too. Like how the Founding Fathers, they said that, but they fucking own human beings because they were black. They owned those people because they were black. They didn't think they were people. Funny. They thought they were N-words. And like white people saying all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's just embarrassing. It's just so weird how people are so much less informed than us. It's really, really disappointing. Like, how is it possible that there is such a huge divide? And there's people, obviously, that know fucking way more than me. But a lot of people, 75 million people voted for Trump. That's 75 million people. Well, there's another angle, too. I was thinking of it earlier with... let's circle back. Okay. Let's
circle back on, if I can piggyback on what you were just saying.
Put a pin in that. Mm-hmm. Let's circle back. To like the foundations okay, I don't have anything to say. No, I'm just kidding. The foundation of the arguments, the back and forth over the student loan forgiveness, right? Mm-hmm. Is when you were saying it's like, just the pure ignorance that can be fixed, right? It's about people learning information and taking it in and actually doing it. But there's another side to that, another part of this foundation of the argument that isn't based on people's ignorance. It's based on pure selfishness. It's just pure self-centered selfishness is all it is. Is part of the argument against the student loan forgiveness is, but look at what I had to do. I didn't get mine done. I don't want those people getting that.
Those people.
I didn't go to college. They made a bad choice. I had an argument with a guy on Twitter, but some of the things, it is funny, like you're talking about honing your arguments on Reddit, but there's things like on Twitter where I was just like, yeah, that's a good point, right? Where I'm thinking about what I'm saying, you know, introspection on how I think about the situation is like, and someone saying, but these people that made these bad choices, made bad financial decisions don't deserve to have their loan forgiven, or so, you know, they don't deserve to not take responsibility for these bad decisions. And my thought was like, well, why not though? Why why is someone undeserving of help for a bad financial decision in general? Like, why?
Because that's not the American way.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, no, like, it's like give me a concrete reason why someone is deserving of something and someone else is undeserving of something. Like, we can go to,
the answer is because I disagree with them. That's why they're undeserving. Because I'm selfish, because I'm incredibly immature, because I didn't get a good education. And, like, seriously, immaturity, that's what drives selfishness.
We can go to actual economic factors, or, like, you can get, like, you know, empirical evidence on what is better overall for the country or for this group of people or for you or me. And it's like, but nope, that's already going down the road of either you're ignorant of these issues or you're not. It's like, no, let's pursue this, like, philosophical, like, questioning here. Why don't people deserve literally all the help from making bad financial decisions? The problem is because financial decisions are the only decisions that matter in our American capitalist system. Mm-hmm. Everything comes back to whether you made good or bad, quote unquote, financial decisions. That determines your worth as a person.
Because it says something about you.
It controls your entire life. And it's like, it shouldn't say something about you as a person or your character or like your human worth, but it just does by definition, because it determines how your life will be spent on this earth. Like, we will be living under capitalism till we die. I'm sure of it. Like, that sucks, but it's like, we probably will. It takes a long time for things to change. And it's like, unless we're willing to take it to the streets, like, Michael the late McDonald. 60s and early 70s under Salvador Allende in Chile. And then, who were only just usurped by the American government, who put in a right-wing, anarcho-capitalist regime. Anyway, but, yeah.
You little poopy bitch.
But yeah, it's like, I forget where I was even going with that, but it's tough because it's tough for even me, who feels like I want to pursue these questions and understand them, and I could barely even come up with the question itself. Like, what determines whether someone's deserving of a good life or not? Like, at the very least, all I know is that it shouldn't be money. It shouldn't be bets placed in the capitalist system.
It's because in America, the legitimate, I was thinking about this today, is that there is no baseline in America. We don't care if you end up homeless, because you don't deserve anything. You don't deserve any sort of handout. That's like that is the attitude in America, is that you're not deserving because you have bootstraps and you live in America and you can pull yourself up by them, because America is this golden city on a hill that anything is possible. Every opportunity is available to you. So you're probably either too fucking stupid or lazy if, like, you can't figure it out. That's why you're poor, because there is nothing wrong with America. It is you. It is your personal choices. This isn't a society. America's attitude, all of this is like... We live
in a society.
Is like, we live in an economy in America, but all of this is just, to me, people are really selfish because they're immature. They remind me of children, like teenagers,
I think people are really selfish because that's how our country
Because we're immature, because we're a baby fucking country who thinks we know better than everybody. I can't learn from Sweden. We're different than Sweden. They've only been around way longer than we have. They only have tried things and put them into place and they've actually worked. Finland has only cured homelessness. All these other countries, but we're the fucking smart ones. We're the 15-year-old girl who knows what's best for herself. We're so fucking arrogant. It's so annoying. Oh my God. And so,
not even
like,
just America, though. I think just capitalism itself.
That is America. That's what I just said.
Yeah, the structuring of everything is based on selfish individuality. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, instead of communal, sort of like everybody, the good of the many, you know, and all that kind of attitude about like that it fucking matters that you're, you know, surrounded by all these people, and that it does matter because we're like the most social species to ever exist as far as we know in like the history of the world. I mean, we need other people, and we try to fuck America.
And that's what's weird. That's right. You told me to save it for the podcast.
Save it for the podcast.
Yeah. But like how even it's like, okay, I'll just read it because it's content, right? Okay.
Good.
How selfish soever man may be supposed, there are evidently some principles in his nature which interest him in the fortune of others, and render their happiness necessary to him, though he derives nothing from it except the pleasure of seeing it. You know, and it goes on about empathy and compassion. Of this kind is a pity or compassion, the emotion which we feel for the misery of others, when we are either see it or are made to conceive of it in a very lively manner. That we often derive sorrow from the sorrow of others is a matter of fact too obvious to require any instances to prove it. For this sentiment, like all other original passions of human nature, is by no means confined to the virtuous and humane, though they perhaps may feel it with the most exquisite sensibility. And it's like, yeah, reading that, it's like, you know who said that? Fucking Adam Smith! Like the founder of like free market capitalist economics, you know? It's like, because like the slow rebranding into just pure unadulterated selfishness and saying that is at its core the hand that moves the market, that supposedly would lift all boats, you know, this rising tide of selfishness. Because
it's supposed to be good for society.
You know, it's like, that's not what Adam Smith was talking about. Like, the fact that people can't immediately just be happy for people who got their debt, like, relieved. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The fact that Mitt Romney was, you know, from years ago, oh, what would be next? Medical debt? Yeah, I fucking hope so.
Should have been first.
You absolute fucking ghoul. You know? I mean, it's like, and you can go even further. Like, oh, what's next? Mortgages? It's like, yeah, that'd be pretty fucking based, but we're not anywhere close to that.
Yeah, housing is a human right. You're right, man.
Yeah, but yeah, well, he didn't say mortgages.
No, I know.
You know, that's the immediate go-to thing, and then people are like, oh, what's next? What's next? A Lamborghini? It's like, why didn't you just stop at the first instance, the thing that actually happened, and feel good? Or even before it happened, why didn't you ever stop and think about how tough it is for some other people? Like, that should be at least some sort of motivating factor in how you see the economy working, how you see society working. You are on the same level as any other human being, no matter what. And it's like, and to think otherwise is the hubris that brings us here. You know?
Yeah, it's interesting because all this attitude about student loan forgiveness, so much of it just comes from people hating education. Like, having this attitude about people with degrees, and it's like, okay, so you think that
maybe they should have learned a trade.
Yeah, there's just as much to know now, like, in 2022 as there was in, like, 1945. Kids should be going to the school the same amount of time, 18 years, because there's the same amount of knowledge for them to get, right? Because nothing has changed over the last, you know, decades.
True.
It's like, how much more, like, is there? I mean, there's so much to our worlds, and we still think that 18 is enough years. Like, that's enough of an education for people. Like, our standards should be, everyone should just be having a bachelor's level education. Like, that's totally possible if you think about school as like not just about getting a degree so you can get a job, but if you think about the baseline for a society's consciousness and how fucking smart you want people to be.
Yeah, the fact that it's only looked at as, it's like, well, they made the bad financial decision. It's like, why is a degree only an investment that's supposed to be paid off by a better job?
Why is an education supposed to be a financial fucking decision?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, man, that's a go-to thought that I kept having. I mean, when these absolute fucking demons always bring me back to like, oh, just because you decided to go get a gender studies degree. It's like, you know what? Let's take that. Let's tone down that part of the rhetoric, but keep your idea exactly the same. And you fucks reword it and say, oh, just because you had to make a bad financial decision and go get a history degree. You know, it's like, yeah, how useful is that? You know, compared to a business degree? Not very. It's just as useful as a gender studies degree because it's about enrichment and about teaching and about just furthering knowledge and education. And
you
it's
can,
like,
you don't have to reinvent the fucking wheel all the time. If you
and none of these conservatives are going to be like, well, history's not important. Of course they're not. They're all addicted to watching Hitler documentaries.
Hitler
and it's like, and they'll constantly, those who don't learn history will be doomed to repeat it. It's like, so are you upset or not at all of the absolute fucking broke Uber drivers with history degrees? Because what the fuck are you going to do with a history degree if you're not teaching history?
Yeah.
Like, we should just, you know, okay, here's another, more content that I was consuming was like a 2-year-old Vash video, actually. But he had mentioned, in talking about like the founding of the country, how kind of new and incredible of an idea it was for the United States to do like a public education system like we've done. Like even from its very different beginnings. But the fact that like it was just, that people go to school, that it was a thing that was like expected, and we had these schooling systems because it's good for the country. It's good for everyone. Like that's a big deal. Like not all other countries did that.
Had such a good structure for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was only for the rich, you know, like you go further back in time. It's like, that's why the Dark Ages were so dark. It's because the people at the bottom never learned to fucking read or anything. Like that was the way to have any sort of upward social mobility.
The black population in America, obviously, after they made it impossible. Obviously, while they were enslaved, they would not be allowed to read, and then afterwards couldn't get an education either. And like, how are you supposed to like compete in a world where you can't read?
That's why immediately after the emancipation and stuff like that, there were like the highest number of like slave descendants like in public office and stuff like that, and then immediately it went downhill from there because they were kept down through the education system. But it's like, the fact that these have to be financial, not even just like financial decisions, and putting aside the fact that it's a racket in the first place and the cost of an education is insane. But it's like, why is everything an investment? And yes, I know the answer to it. It's like, why?
It's corporate communism.
It's like, but I'm tired of being a corporate shill. It's like, and this is coming from someone who got a business degree, you know, and it's like, and I got it because it'll have the best return on investment at some point, you know? It's like,
that's what school is about. That's what they say. So you can get a degree to get a good job to make good money. That's what education is about.
A better person.
Not so that we can actually cure cancer. That's not the way things are phrased. The betterment of society is not really a goal. Like, that's not what we talk about. We talk about making money in America. That's what people do because that's the only way you can kind of enjoy your life. is if you have some money. Otherwise, you have to live like a fucking drone or just like an ant that works for Amazon you work 5 days in a row, then you have a 2-day break, and then you work 5 days in a row. Yeah, for about 5 hours. No, it's so...
Before your first break.
Keep the people stupid, though, and that's why people are saying... People are so fucking stupid that they think that student loans shouldn't be forgiven and stuff, you know?
Jim Baker clip, because I always thought it was so funny when he's like, oh, he's willing to, like, debase himself on stage because I haven't eaten for about 5 hours. It's like, oh, have you ever had a fucking job? What do you mean you haven't eaten for 5 hours? Isn't that, like, normal? What the hell are you talking about? It's like, I don't eat or shit or go to the bathroom for 5 hours. Because
have you ever talked to a nurse before?
You know? Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Yeah. Circling back
I'm right
to
there with
a different part of the conversation about how people having their worth only based on what they can produce. It's like, you know, that's what's funny. You know, it's funny.
You know,
oh man, where was it?
I forgot. I'm sorry.
I'm searching. Oh, so that, about people deserving handouts, quote unquote, because, you know, well, they don't deserve it because they made a bad decision. So you go to these people, and most of them, if you exclude the absolute cretin psychopaths that don't think any sort of help should exist for anyone, but most people on that side of things will at least give the caveat, well, I mean, if someone's disabled, you know, for example, if someone's like completely like mentally and physically disabled, it's like, yeah, they deserve that because that wasn't their choice, right? It's like, you know, it's all about choice. It's like, no, the reason that we think it's okay is because this person's disability or their lot in life means that they don't contribute to capitalist society, that they don't produce things of financial worth. That's why. And it's like, it's not because inherently they are deserving of a life, but because otherwise without handouts financially, they will die. And you just don't want that to be on your hands. Like, how fucked up is that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, by the way, capitalism, kind of fucked up, you know?
Yeah. You know what? That's a good point. Yeah, and then, like, people don't have a choice in being disabled. And it's like, so, you know, people don't have a choice in being black or a woman. And because of systemic racism and systemic sexism and because they're born in America, and this zip code, and all of these things. And if you knew anything about history, maybe if you had gone to college, you would fucking know this already, but you're too...
My other
by this propaganda
argument over this week was, it's like, God. So people say, well, they shouldn't have made that choice. If you can't pay that loan, or if you can't do that, it's a bad financial decision. So my go-to question is, okay, so if everyone did the quote-unquote right thing and made the right decisions, we would, factually, just end up with way fewer American citizens with college degrees. Is that what you want? Like,
fewer doctors.
Because of the cost of college, loans are a necessity. So it's like, if everyone made the proper financial decisions, and we wouldn't have this loan debacle in the first place, and way fewer people would have college education. Is that what you want? Like, at least admit it. Because some of these people, that is what they want. They think that college is bad for whatever fucking stupid ass reason. But it's really interesting.
Those same people listen to Ben Shapiro, who went to college.
He went to Harvard when he was 16. That's his whole thing. He's a fucking dork. And you listen to him because he's a smarty pants. The only reason he's a quote-unquote smarty pants is because he went to a fucking Ivy League school.
Because he has
UCLA.
Yeah, big vocabulary. It's not because he's actually smart.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. It's like, but you know what? He wouldn't be there if he hadn't gone to college. That's for sure.
Totally.
He'd be a violin-playing dork. I mean, he is. It's like, but
With
he would
tiny
still be stuck in the locker that he was stuffed into in 10th grade.
I agree.
You know? And like...
That's what he needs.
It's like, and you know what? I believe that even a Ben Shapiro roller backpack bow tie wearing dork that follows Ben Shapiro, and I've said it twice, he should have like less financial burden on college, just like the person from the inner city that finally got to go to college for the first time in the history of their family. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, the biggest problem that we have from the left is like not even just the size of this loan forgiveness, because it's not enough. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
You can't downplay how great it is
Sure,
that something
course.
actually happened, but it's like, but yeah, the only
How great is it that
legitimate-
something actually happened?
Yeah.
What an embarrassing fucking sentence.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah.
But it's like the only legitimate argument from the other side against it is that, well, this is just going to happen again. It's like, yeah, I know! College is too expensive! It should be accessible and available to all. That's it. End of story.
Yeah.
It's like, let's start forgiving it. Let's eventually put a freeze on all of it. And then let's work our way to having it
Like,
being free at the point of service. That's it.
Do you want people designing railway stations that don't have college degrees? Yeah. Do you want people like inventing medical equipment that don't have college degrees? Do you want the people who, I mean, like all these things, it's like, what is your baseline?
The people that are going to be giving therapy to your teenager because your kids hate you because you're that type of person?
Yeah.
Do you want that person talking to your kid to not have a college degree?
To have only graduated from high school and then to be...
Or be like Lauren Boebert and have to take the GED exam 4 times?
It's seriously like, what is your...
Okay, I'm not going to education shame, but... So,
no, but I mean, it's like, but what do you see for the future? Like, what kind of world are you envisioning? Like, where are we going to go? How are we going to be able to get technology if people can't, like, have a place to study what other people have already done? We don't need to keep inventing the motherfucking wheel. We can actually build upon the things that we know, but you have to actually know them before you can build upon them. I had a funny example, like, Kelsey said, her and a friend, we were talking about, they came up with this idea when they were high, and I was like, well, that's not going to work. Okay, so it's like they're like, you shine a light into a mirrored box, you close it, and so the light bounces around on the inside of there, and you have a light forever. And I was like, well, that's not how light works.
But it'd be like Schrodinger's light.
Well, yeah, I know. I was like, but they were talking about like two-way mirrors and stuff, and I was like, but that's not how light works. Like, as soon as you see it,
you see the light.
Yeah, that's what I was. And they're like, oh, I was like, yeah, photons. Like when you're seeing them, that's them like
traveling
existing, you know. And so, and I was thinking about
entering your eye, right?
Yeah, like yeah. So like because they're visible, like that's what you're seeing is photons. But I was thinking about that. And that was all funny, and it was really silly. But I was thinking that if people don't know, like, if you don't know how photons work or whatever, you can't have you don't have the best foundation to come up with an idea for illumination. So it's like, if people had way more information, like, that is what will drive innovation. Information drives innovation, not competition. Like, that's how people who can follow their passions and are interested in it, like, can have better ideas about how to do things. Like, that's what makes society better. That's why we, like, and all these guys complain about it. Like again, like, I really would like to hear what Tucker Carlson has to say. It's like, what kind of world do you imagine for the future? Exactly the same as now? You don't want any more advancements for anything? Like, you think that we've hit peak humanity?
No, they want the wealthy elite to have more, and that's an easy way for that to happen, is to make sure that less people have access to education.
Fewer
and
people.
The barriers...
Ooh.
I got a business degree, okay? Not an English degree.
Not an English major.
But, but that... I did so well. I said fewer so many times earlier. God damn it. But
Rob always would correct me on that. That's the only reason I ever... And I can't even believe it. That idiot.
I only remember it because of the Weird Al gif of him fixing the supermarket sign.
Oh.
where it's 10 items or less, and he puts on 10 items or fewer. Anyway,
that's funny.
but it's like, oh, now I already forgot. But my other thought was like, meanwhile, you people complaining about college debt forgiveness, your kids are on TikTok right now watching some degreeless crystal mommy tell them that the fucking earth is flat. Okay? Like, straight up.
Straight up. That's exactly what are we seeing for the future?
Because of how little credence people give to education in general.
Yeah. It's a weird
time. Because even though it's true
that the earth
to a
is
certain
flat,
extent, even though it's true, we don't have to say it. I mean, we'll get murked by NASA. No. But even though it's true, the fact that the phrase "just because you have a college degree doesn't make you smart" is such an oft-used retort to things. It's like, why do you feel the need to say that? It's like, sure, that doesn't make you smart.
Doesn't make you dumb either.
Yeah, exactly. But it means that you got a college degree. It means you furthered your education. It means that generally, in terms of the things that you studied in college, you know more about that than people who didn't study it. That's just a fact.
I really got so fucking irritated at a guy before that who was like, being like, what do you think you know more than me? And I'm like, well, I mean, about feminism, yeah. Like, that was my field of study. It's like, saying like, using that exact thing that you don't know, some guy telling me he knows more about women or whatever than I do. And it was about my degree. He was feeling, because people feel insecure when they don't have a degree. And it's like, well, I don't know what to do about that.
A degree.
Yes, and that's exactly. People should
and
be
all
legit.
the people that don't feel insecure about it will be happy with their trade jobs, which is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Very necessary.
Sure. And like, I just feel like
because I got a degree, and man, sometimes I would love to be just doing plumbing for a living.
Electrical, yeah. That's what I always told Rob. I was like, it would be nice to have a job where you just like follow, like you just know exactly what to do, and you just don't have to figure anything out. You just do the math or whatever. It's like a very exact job.
Accomplishing it, It's like people like doing Legos in their spare time, you know. I mean, there's something
autistic
for everyone.
People. No.
And if only, there's a lot of autistic people that could make great engineers.
Yeah.
But, or that already do. But, we have artists and we have autists, okay?
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, the problem is that starts really sounding kind of like this, old, totally debunked idiom of from each according to their ability to each according to their need.
That sounds
we're all
like
covered
some
with
communist
these abilities.
Trash.
Yeah, I wonder why. It's like, you know what? You know who did come up with a cure for a type of cancer recently?
Your mom?
Cuba. They did. They have a fucking cancer vaccine for a certain type of breast cancer, was it? I forget. But it's like, they have their own they're shut off from the Western world because of trade embargoes and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, but communism, but blah, blah. It's like they made their own fucking COVID vaccine just as fast as we did.
And
spent $8 billion on it as a big giveaway to pharma companies.
Yeah, I just think that it's like, you don't have, whatever. America, you can look towards Scandinavia, like, but at least you don't have to...
capitalist.
Well, I mean, like, they're socialist. I mean, they have socialist policies and stuff that it's like, look at how America stacks up against literally every single other developed nation, and we're like the worst at everything. And I don't know if that's because we have such little regulation, but I do know that it's because we have such little regulation. So, you know, like uncontrolled capitalism, pretty much, where everything can always come down to pretty much every single problem that it's like, you see sad news, it's like things being shut down, animals being back up about kids, and no lunches, kindergartners not being able to afford. It's all because of profit. Every single thing. Morals, ethics, loved ones, any concept you could ever possibly think of comes after profit. So
Sophia and I were listening to our Lord and Savior, Arun Brown, this morning.
Oh, I know Arun Brown.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's on my other soundboard. Dang it. But and even that, because I just go off on tangents and talk to her, about stuff, it's a good springboard for things.
Being sprored.
Yeah. And
I know Arun Brown.
There you go. This is better late than never. But she was because she had asked, what does wealthy mean? And we're talking about Ben Shapiro and yada yada. And I said, and because being wealthy doesn't mean you're a good person. And honestly, most of the time it's the opposite, right? She's just the fucking best. And for all the listeners, the millions of listeners that don't know me personally, my daughter is 8 years old, and she's 8 years old and she has a beard. Yeah, she does have a beard. It's
a big green beard.
Yeah. She took these Dr. Seuss looking clippers to it to get ready for her first day of school. What a hack job! But, and she had said, she's like, you only need so much. She's like, because there's definitely such thing as too much money. You can have too much money. And everything, she says it apropos of nothing. Or if it comes up and someone wins $1,000 and she sees it on YouTube or something, and her first thing, she's such a virtue signaling little bitch. No, her first thing is always, if I had $1,000, I would give it away to charity. Is her first thing immediately. She's like, or I would give it to a homeless person, is what she always says. And I slap her across the face. I'm like, it's unhoused, you heathen. Don't call him that. And she's like, sorry,
my lived
Dad.
Experience is that,
And she's like, sorry, Dad. I'm like, and I slap her again. I say, it's Mr. Morgan. No, but
it's like, wait, what are your values?
But even talking to her from her savage leftist atheist father, I'm just like, because you know what? We both know this because Jesus said it himself. For it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah. And there's things like that.
How often do we just forget that it's like not just some joke that money is the root of all evil? It's like,
but it's not, that's actually not even the full saying. You know what it is? It's the love of money is the root of all evil. And I think it's because it makes people not human. Like, it takes away their humanity to put something above human life. Like Jeff Bezos and all those, all these rich people who just, they obviously by all of their actions show they don't care. Yes. Yeah. It does, and out of touch, that's what I think, good and evil and those kind of concepts. I'm not really spiritual, so they mean different things to me than they do to other people sometimes, but I feel like that's what evil is the lack of caring about this other person, and that's what money makes you that way. That it takes you away from other people, and it makes you feel like you're above them, and that means you're not human anymore. You're not on the same level as these other human beings because of this money. And because you love that. You care more about that. You care more about having enough money to go to space. You care more about whatever it is than you do genuinely about people drinking contaminated water, people dying in the streets of the city that your business is in. All these things, that's not my opinion. That's the reality of their actions.
The heat death of the entire fucking planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Exxon executives and stuff, where you're just genuinely not listening. You're actively resisting the reality of it because you want more money. Yeah, you're doing it on purpose because you want more money, and that's it. That's it. Full stop.
Yeah, well, because you want to
beat a kid in Walmart.
No,
because money is power.
It's you know what?
Because that's right. Because money is power, and having power over other people is like evil. That's like what I think anarchists are getting at.
How
is like
amazing
hierarchies
would it be
are not good.
if we had a society that had no classes or any money?
Yeah, we're just broke and stupid.
We wouldn't even,
those
we
kind of
wouldn't
classes.
even need a state. Yeah, like a stateless, classless, moneyless system. I don't know what they would call that.
Yeah, I don't know. Some sort of community
pure capitalism.
System? Oh,
I call it corporate communism. No, it's funny.
Pure capitalism.
I just had like this funny flashback while I was preparing for that just killer joke that I made about communism. Like, God damn.
Oh, communism. That's right.
Oh,
now I get it.
A little
That's
too
a
smart
good
for
drop.
the room here.
Yeah.
No, but oh yeah, we should write that down. But looking back, it's funny. The different path that this conspiracy theory to right-wing pipeline could have been for my generation, because that's always kind of been there. I'm sure that sociologists could have very interesting takes on and tons of research on why conspiracy theories and right-wing thinking goes hand in hand.
Small penises.
But I
end
remember
of story. Done it.
No, but my first, everyone, it's a big conspiracy that it's just the media. The average size is 4.1 inches, not 6.
It's definitely not 6.
Okay, but it's funny. My first big dives into conspiracy theories, like a lot of people my age, was when I watched Zeitgeist. I don't know if you ever watched that. It was out on the internet.
I did eventually,
back in
way
the earlier
after.
days. And it's a 9/11 truther stuff, right? So,
yeah.
And it's really well done in terms of propaganda and how it can get you, because it really got a lot of people, myself included, even to this day, where it's like, well, I mean, I don't think that Bush did 9/11, but I don't believe the 9/11 Commission report. I'm not going to read that garbage. It's just a bunch of politicians covering for a bunch of different agencies. Who cares? Anyway, that's besides the point. So it's like that conspiracy pipeline. I remember Zeitgeist 2 came out, and it focused way more on the Federal Reserve, right? Real common talking point, and how debt is slavery, and how everything is truly controlled by the Federal Reserve because they control money, and money controls our entire way of life, right? And it's a conspiracy theory video, but then I look back, I'm like, oh yeah. And there was a call to action in that one, though. And they were advocating for the abolishing of currency, and realizing all of the benefits that they were talking about their angle was more of actualizing, actual pure meritocracy, where competence and leadership and innovation is what raises your social status instead of wealth. But then looking back, I'm like, man, I saw that 14 years ago or whatever it was now. And it's like, oh, that they really didn't take off, because at the end they advocated for a pure communist utopia. That's all they were doing. And they were talking about abolish, and now it just stops at abolish the Fed, and that turns into just, oh, the government's bad and taxes are theft. It's like, no, abolish money. Abolish money. But people realize, oh, that means abolish capitalism. And, oh man, you can really go down the rabbit hole on what conspiracies keep that from being a good and more appropriate and supported line of thinking or advocacy from normal people. Is, hey, this whole system sucks, right? We all agree on that. Oh, why is it 10% of the people that think the world needs to change aren't just saying, yeah, money should just be gone altogether? Because that's communism. So
Yeah.
it was just a funny thought. I don't know. I hadn't thought of Zeitgeist 2 in so long, and I remember even seeing it then. It was like, well, that was a little different than the first one, because the first one's like fucking scary, you know?
Yeah.
It's like and real deep conspiracy nut stuff and all this supposed evidence and all that. And the second one was way more interesting in retrospect and the source of many a conspiracy theory, but it was really tackling the problem of money running our lives.
It was a seed being planted in your little brain.
Well, we need to, we need to somehow, like, if only leftists really did run the CIA, you know, like all these retards say, it's like we could really
leftists could run anything.
Only leftists could like run a mile.
Jeez. Yeah, our president's 80 years old, and
and he's not even a leftist, and he's the best one, in better shape than all of us. No,
yeah,
it's like the fact that he's still alive. I mean, you saw his eyes going all wonky during the press conference.
I don't know when he's had real teeth, so.
Yeah. It's like his dog like almost killed him before his first day in office. He was killed by a dog. There's a conspiracy
bumbling
theory.
Joe. Yeah, jeez.
he's a hologram.
Yeah,
but
he's just a meat bag in a suit.
But we just need a good like totally astroturfed psyop that gets these abolish the Fed guys leaning into abolish capitalism. That's where the problem is, and they just don't quite get it.
Because there are a lot of libertarians, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm exactly talking about libertarians. It's like to get them to left libertarianism, like there's just a final step, and they're purposefully through, you know, not through some shadowy cabal, but by the way that the system exists currently, keeps you from not wanting to abolish capitalism. Yeah. It's like there's that final step that makes them vehemently anti-communist. It's like, no, all of these things that you complain about is capitalism.
I think it's because a lot of these guys maybe somewhere know that they'll lose whatever unearned advantage they've had in their life. They're white. There's a lot of libertarians are a lot of white guys.
Money and like there's no advantage to have.
But they'll realize that they are not anything. They shit without the patriarchy and white supremacy, which is inextricably linked with capitalism. If the playing field, if it's all these things, they're nothing. And the
they are everything and nothing, just like how we are. They're just human beings.
But they're too fucking stupid to realize that.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what the psyop is for. They're not going to get there on their own. I mean,
I totally agree with that. Yeah, but
that's what the psyop is for.
Yeah, because they think like that's why they're so scared. Like all these KKK and Nazis and stuff, like losing their culture and like losing whiteness and all of that, because they think it makes them special because they know that they're not. But they can't. They have to take that one next step. Is that nobody is special and that's everybody's special and blah blah blah. But they just, you know what it does? We just need to put LSD in the water supply.
Was my phone just going off with a...
It's going on right now.
God damn it. There's ads on this app. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know it's muted on my end, so...
We need to put acid in the water supply so then people can have these... They can get there on their own. If they do acid.
Yeah, these people that are upholding the status quo will just wake up one morning and just yell out,
I'm tired of being a corporate shill.
That's so funny, because actually that guy that Kelsey used to date...
And then their partner is going to be like, oh my god, you sound exactly like Lisa Simpson.
Do it again! Yeah, actually that one guy that Kelsey used to date that was like, he's such a, he's a right-wing... guy, and he's done acid a lot and mushrooms and stuff, and that's what he talks about, like ego death and all this bullshit. I'm like, oh my god, he's so fucking full of shit. He wouldn't think that every single person should have a gun if he actually had some sort of ego death acid experience.
And that guy's name? Joseph Robinette Biden. We have to,
Joseph Robinette
we have to
Brandon.
expose to our audience our ties to the political insiders in Washington right now, I think. You know, I wasn't ever really raising like a leftist freedom fighting group. It was just a local ROTC in Silver Springs, Maryland. And
Yeah, I'm a cop.
You're a cop whose girlfriend used to date Joe Biden.
Pretty typical story, I think. We've all
we're
been
just
there.
another one of those podcasts.
Yeah, I know. If I've heard one, heard them all.
Yeah, we're the PSYOP. We're meant to make socialist ideas look so insanely stupid that no one would ever go for them. We get all of our funding from the CIA.
Gotcha. Yeah.
like, you know how we uphold the neoliberal order? Is we just give a bunch of idiotic white people a bunch of money to do podcasts.
Yeah, if only they gave us a bunch of money.
Yeah. Hey, how do you think we got all this fantastic equipment that everyone
Yeah, that always works
to?
perfectly first try.
Yeah, and that's why I'm complaining about ads on my soundboard app.
What I just realized was that I've been jangling my ankle and I have a jingly bracelet on, so it's probably going to be
I was
super
wondering what that
annoying.
noise was.
This?
Oh, I guess I don't hear it.
I do.
When it comes down to it, I think our podcast is important and meaningful.
What is this?
And-
Just a couple guys having a conversation? Who the hell wants to listen to that?
No.
And it's really long. It's like an hour and 40 minutes.
We gotta get going. Well, we had to make up for 2 weeks, so I'll have a
2
fun
weeks.
time. What?
Well,
We didn't
I
have
did
a
just want to
podcast
say
last
this
week.
one thing.
Why'd you say 2 weeks? Oh,
So
there.
that'll look good. It looks like it didn't.
I want to hear
Top
this.
out at all.
It sounded good. And this is me playing my electronic drum set. It's an acoustic electric. And this is me playing a keyboard that you can't hear.
Is that the Super Mario Brothers theme song?
No, it was just a C major chord. Oh, I could have just said anything, huh? No, it was Beethoven's
No, I
Sonata
would've known.
Pathétique.
Wow. Nerd.
Perfect.
Not good.
But that's why
On
we
that
get.
note.
Yeah. On that note,
Everyone
see?
is stupid except me.
but and yeah, on that note, we'll end the podcast with me playing every single drop at once, so it blows out everyone's eardrums. No, I'm not going to press play on that. It
Oh my
sounds
God, it's so funny.
terrible. But
So funny.
everyone go to support us on patreon.com/Chapo Trap House. And shouts out to our Lord and Savior, R.M. Brown, our God,
He
Allah.
is disgusting.
He is...
Uber cars.
That's exactly what I was going to say!
I knew it!
Oh, that's
knew it.
funny.
Predictable.
Okay, Natalie.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Wow.
Hassan.
Yeah. I was just going to say, he is...
You little poopy bitch.
Oh, that doesn't really make sense.
He
Doug
is.
He's the real deal.
What was CIB? Conditioned.
Inauthentic behavior. Coordinated inauthentic behavior.
What a stupid 3 words in a row.
It was amazing. That's such a good drop. I thought it was so fucking
Oh,
funny.
yeah, I know. It's so
Because the
Mark
maestro
Zuckerberg, though, I'm like, what the
himself-
fuck?
What's funny is I was just listening to it at first, and so I hadn't seen the screen until like the third time he played it. I was like, oh, that's Mark Zuckerberg? No wonder. I was like, what the hell?
Is that a robot?
Yeah, is there some sort of... Yeah, is it like one of those AI-created TikTok rappers? No.
That's racist? Yeah.
Yeah. Was that FN Mecca? Okay, well, let's get going. I really missed talking to you. Oh,
Yeah, me too. I missed you this week. It was, it was interesting not having our intentional podcast time. I missed you too. And,
Yeah. Have you?
Having a better week.
Are you catching up on Better Call Saul?
I've been in Chelan.
I've been in Chelan. Yeah, like there's no fucking
Doing
TV in
Molly
Chelan.
and mushrooms and
Oh,
sitting
yeah,
in the hot tub.
That's the best way to watch
paddleboarding.
a really intense drama, black comedy drama.
Yeah, I think so too.
You can really follow along well. When
Yeah.
you're just hanging out with
Really
other
wanna-
people doing mushrooms.
And Molly, yeah, you really want to sit still and watch a drama when you're on Molly, and there's a hot tub and music.
Yeah, that's what I always say.
And Friends, yeah.
That's how I got through Seinfeld. Right. Okay, I have to tend to my sick child. I'm sure she's still asleep, but we'll see. Everyone tell Sophia to get better.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that.
Yeah, I think you did, but...
I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
meant
but
to
I didn't mean to interrupt Sophia.
Oh, yeah, you just didn't mean to interrupt that particular thing with... Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Bruh. Bruh, bruh, bruh,
Bruh, bruh, bruh, bruh, bruh, bruh.
That's what I should have played during the Zeitgeist. Oh my god,
Oh,
this
yeah.
goes too long. No, never mind. Yeah, that's enough of those. And with that, yeah, Sophia took like 10 milliliters of her cough medicine, just fell on the bed like. There's too many stupid.
It was really
things
quiet.
on here. Oh, it was?
Mm-hmm.
What about?
Loud noises!
Oh no! Ah, shoot, and then an advertisement! Jesus Christ! Ah! Alright, on that note, capitalism is the worst. I love you.
That's why conservatism is stupid and will never work. Okay, bye.
That's right. Okay, bye.